This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your more off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code STATEOFSAINTS, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com.
Settings in the Google Home app.
Quiet, Google. I'm doing a show. What's going on, everybody? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And as soon as I got on the mic, my Google Mini began to talk to me for reasons beyond me. But thank you all so much for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition of the State of the Saints podcast, we're going to be talking about Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas. Okay, can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me before we get into it. I've been messing with my mic level, so everybody, let me know if you can hear me or not. You know, if you can hear me, just say yes. Okay, I just want to make sure y'all can hear me before I get started. I'm talking to the people in the chat for those that are checking out the recording. All right. So people saying they can hear me. I just want to make sure, because sometimes I go at it and everybody like, I think I talked maybe like 6 minutes one time and I ain't looked down at the chat, and I had like this immaculate conversation with myself. But we're going to be talking about Michael Thomas. Okay. We're going to talk about Michael Thomas. And, the fact is, we know that Jameis Winston has been extremely proactive this offseason, trying to get geared up for possibly becoming the number one quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. We know about the competition. For the first time in 15 years, there's going to be a quarterback competition in training camp to choose who is going to be the starting quarterback. Is it going to be Taysom Hill? Is it going to be Jameis Winston? Jameis Winston, we've seen him be extremely proactive through those videos that he put out. And we also seen some of the Saints wide receivers, some like Traquan Smith, also Marquez Callaway, Juwan Johnson, Adam Troutman, the tight end, Tony Jones Jr. Coming into his second year, the running back out of Notre Dame. So all these guys have been doing, been doing work with Jameis Winston. And, with that, look, we see these wide receivers, and we both, we all see these two wide receivers, Marquez Callaway and also Traquan Smith, and we know that these guys can be important to the future of the New Orleans Saints. But there's no other wide receiver more important than Michael Thomas. And the question on everyone's mind is, where is he? Like, why isn't Michael Thomas working out with the rest of his counterparts, man? Why is he not his kumquats, as I say, his buddies, his ace boon coons, if you will? Why is he not working out with those guys? And the answer to that is, I don't know. I do know this. I do know that Michael Thomas is an extremely competitive guy. I also know that he's a little bit of a loner. That's what I get from him. He seems like the type of guy that hangs out by himself. He doesn't like to be around a whole bunch of people. Because if you ever follow Michael Thomas on social media, you'll see, man, like most of the time is him snapping pictures of himself, like taking selfies. Like I'm pretty sure like he rolls, I mean, I know he's friends with James Harden and stuff like that. So pretty sure he gets out, but he gives me these vibes like he likes to do things alone, like including workout, including like, try to build up his body, what I'm saying, build up his, his discipline by himself. But I think what's very important is the chemistry that you have on the field. And maybe Michael Thomas, understands that he's going to be ready, whoever the quarterback is going to be. But I do know that quarterbacks and wide receivers need chemistry. And I think that it's very important that he works out with both of these guys. Rather he work out with Taysom or rather he work out with Jameis. I think he needs to work out with somebody. I mean, preferably both of these guys, because both of these guys are going to throw you the football. I mean, one way or another, both of these guys are going to throw Michael Thomas the football. If Jameis Winston end up being the starting quarterback, he is going to end up, throwing the football to Michael Thomas. And even with Taysom Hill coming in sporadically, if he was to be, in his Swiss Army role, he's going to be throwing the ball to Michael Thomas. So it's very important for him to have chemistry with both of those guys. But I never question Michael Thomas' ability to be ready. I mean, this is a guy that stays ready. This is a guy that always comes to camp ready and willing to rock and roll. Had a little bit of a setback last year because of the injury, of course. But for the most part, Michael Thomas, ever since he's been in the Saints uniform, I mean, he has been going up the trajectory. Every single year, his numbers have gotten better from the year previous. So I'm not concerned about this, but I do know that, having camaraderie, having chemistry with your teammates is very, very important. Also, helping out some of these younger talents that probably don't have as much talent as you possess. There's always that opportunity to give them little nuggets and information that can help you. But I don't take anything from this because that's just the way Michael Thomas is. Like I'm telling you, he seems like a guy that sticks to himself. He has his own discipline. He has his own style. He has his own everything, man. That's just the way that he is. And, I'm not thinking anything other than the fact that he just likes to work out alone. And some people will probably take this as him being a diva. I've heard whispers of that, right? When the whole controversy came out about him and how he acts in the locker room and the whole fight with CJ Gardner Johnson, people started to ask questions about Michael Thomas, asking like, well, what I'm saying, what's wrong with Michael Thomas? Like, did they pay him too much? Did they pay the wrong guy? And like, I get all that. I understand that that's going to come with it. But at the end of the day, this is a guy that you never question his heart, his passion, and his drive to succeed and be one of the very best in football. So, would I like to see Michael Thomas out there running routes with the rest of the team? Some of the guys that I've seen, I mean, I seen Ty Montgomery out there a couple days before. I mean, I would love to see that. But I can also see, people like Alvin Kamara hasn't showed up, right? Alvin wasn't out there. Alvin catches around 88 passes a year, right? You know what I'm saying? He missed the 88. So I'm pretty sure Alvin is going to, be concerned about how the ball is going to come out and how he's going to catch it. And also some of those other running backs, Latavius Murray, I didn't see him out there either. So I don't take anything from this. I think that all those guys are going to be ready in training camp. And also, I mean, there are things behind the scenes. I don't want to fall into that whole, out of sight, out of mind thing. We have a tendency of believing if it's not on video, then it never happened. And that's a sad thing. And that takes away from a great story. Back in the day, when you wasn't there, when I was growing up as a kid, there were no cell phones, there was no video, right? When somebody tell you a story, I'm saying, they had to be a very good storyteller to make you laugh, to make you think. But now it's like people have this tendency of, if it's not on video, then it doesn't exist. Like, we just feel like because Taysom Hill isn't putting his whole body of work out there, all of a sudden he's not working. But that could be far from the case. I mean, that's just because Taysom doesn't have a camera around him and follow him around doesn't mean that he's not putting in the work and trying to be the best that he can be, getting ready for this competition. So I'm not. That's just the way that I feel about it. But I would love to hear from you. Thank you all very much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. I really do appreciate your time. And now I'm about to answer some of your questions here. And let's go ahead and stroll up a little bit. Special shout out to everybody here: Brian, Hakeem, Wayne, Jared Port Jr., Mike, Chanel, and so many others. Thank you, Leanne, supporter of the State of the Saints. But we're going to let's go ahead and start with Brian. Brian says he probably resting up. He just had surgery. Yeah, that's a good point too. He did have two surgeries on his ankle this off season, so that can have a lot to do with it as well. Yannick says Coach Payton going to disappoint you. Uh, in what way, Yannick? What exactly are we talking about here? In what way is Sean Payton going to disappoint us? I would love to hear from you on that. Smash that like button, fam. Yeah, absolutely, man. If you love the State of the Saints podcast, go ahead and hit that like button. We got some good stuff coming up, man. I got some great news that I'm gonna tell you all later on in the show. About the State of the Saints podcast, and also just some of the moves that I made. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later in the show, but definitely, if you love the State of the Saints podcast, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hopefully this week can become one of your favorite Saints podcasts because we work extremely hard here to put out really good content that you all can enjoy. Andrea says Michael has always had personal workouts and they are secretive. Yeah, that's true. He doesn't really come out and tell anyone about his workout routine, his workout regimen at all. People ask him about his hand exercises, like he keeps everything under wraps. And maybe, that just him being a competitor, maybe not. But at the end of the day, I don't knock anybody for being a loner. Like sometimes people just don't like to be around people. Like some people like to get it done by themselves. I'm a little bit of a loner. Like I'm not one of those people that like to go out all the time. And I like to stay in the house, man. I like to stay in the house, hang out with my son, hang out with my wife. Sometimes, my wife gets upset with me because you're like, man, you don't want to go anywhere. You don't date your wife. But I mean, I just like to be a little bit of a loner, man. I spend most of my time trying to, build my brand here. You know what I'm saying? Like come up with content that people can enjoy. I'm constantly thinking, I'm constantly working, and sometimes, I gotta kind of step back and be like, man, I gotta, do some other things too. So I might watch TV or something, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with being alone. I really don't. Love seeing that, by the way. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. These guys are really working hard out there, man. They putting in that work. These guys are out here, man. They running routes. They got a guy who specializes in running routes here, and man, they putting in work. That Jawan Johnson right there, man. That guy is huge, man. He like you can tell a guy is huge, like if he looks huge on video. So if he can get it together, man, the Saints may have something there. And him working out with Jameis, that might benefit him, man. But we all know what Marquez Callaway can do. Tony Jones, he had some good moments, man, in that Carolina game before he left with that injury. So a lot of these young guys, man, I think they, took it upon themselves to come on out there. I don't know what the particulars were. I don't know if they, flew out there on their own or Jameis, flew them out or in New Orleans. It looked like they're in New Orleans to me. I don't know. I think they may be somewhere in New Orleans looking at that barrier on the side. That look like that barrier that be over there, like, off the I-10, like when you go into Kenner. I could be wrong. No, not Kenner, Metairie. Excuse me, out there in Metairie. Yannick, sounds like you need a change team. So what's up with you? I don't want to say that, man. Yeah, look, Yannick have a right to believe what he believes, Jerry. Sometimes people just tired of being disappointed. And I think we all as Saints fans in a way are tired of being disappointed, man. Like we look at this team be successful during the regular season only for them to disappoint us in the postseason. Like they leave us with so many. They just leave us with so many unanswered questions every single year. It'll be one thing, like if your team struggles, right? I think about the 1999 New York Knicks. All right, let's talk about them for a second, okay? The New York Knicks, they end up was the 8th seed in the NBA, right? NBA playoffs. Like nobody expected a 8 seed to go all the way to the finals. I mean, basically they were playing with house money. So they end up going all the way to the NBA finals. They lost to the Spurs, right? You know what I'm saying? They lost to the Spurs, but at the end of the day, nobody expected them to be there. So as a Knicks fan, you can be like, I understand, you know what I'm saying? But when you're good, right? When you're like number one in everything, statistically, you're like one of the best, the creme, de la creme. And you just can continuously like disappoint the masses. Like you have to start looking around and like, man, what is going on? And why does this keep happening? So people questioning Sean Payton, I have absolutely no problem with that, man. I'm not here to be a Sean Payton defender at all. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure everybody understands that. I'm not trying to defend Sean Payton at all. What I'm saying is, people got a right to feel the way that they do. So if you're on the fence to say, okay, these guys are going to win, these guys are going to handle up on their business. But if you fall into that category, that's fine. But if you don't, cool with that too. Kelly Kell says, have you reached out to Mike? No, I have not. Look, man, I'm not even going to pretend. I don't know Michael Thomas like that, man. I don't know Michael Thomas. I think Michael Thomas, I think I said something about Michael Thomas back in the day. You know what I'm saying? He responded to me. I don't want anybody to make it seem like, you know what I'm saying? Like you well connected. Man, look, I just work extremely hard. Like, I'm just being real. I just work extremely hard. I understand that people out here on YouTube, they have like a bunch of subscribers, they have a bunch of followers, and then all of a sudden, like, everybody got all they own. No, I don't want anybody to get under that pressure. Like, I'm just out here living a lavish life, or I'm well connected. I just bust my ass. Excuse me. I just bust my tail, and I try to make sure that I give you all content. You know what I'm saying? Some doors open, some doors closed. The thing that works for the State of the Saints podcast is the fact that I don't get discouraged when I hear the word no, or, you know what I'm saying, we can't do it. That, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Like, I don't want anybody to believe that. I understand like how people like to run their podcast. They like to make it seem like they big business and they know this person. Nah, What I do is, you know what I'm saying, I just constantly keep pushing. And that's just the way that we built this show. We built this show through hard work and dedication. So anybody out here that just think that, you know what I'm saying, I'm out here and about to go to church in Caicos or something like that off State of the Saints podcast, no, I am constantly building. I am you know what I'm saying, just like everybody else. But back to your Michael Thomas, statement. No, I don't know him, and I haven't reached out to him, and I don't know him like that, But if Michael Thomas would, like to be on the State of the Saints podcast, I would like to, get in touch with his representation. I mean, you can feel free to come on the show. I would love to have him, talk to him, The setback last year is the big reason to work out with the team and rebuild chemistry. Yeah, I agree, Chanel. I agree. But once again, we don't want to fall into this whole, we don't see them on camera, they ain't doing nothing. Like, we don't want to do that. And I understand it's optics, right? Like, we want to see these things happen. And if we don't see them, then we're wondering, are they happening? And if we see some video, we start looking for individuals that look familiar to us. And if we don't see them, then we're like, well, where's such and such? Where's such and such? I get it. But I don't want to think that it's going to affect the chemistry. I just think that all these guys know what the task at hand is. And a lot of these guys have played together. So I don't think chemistry should be an issue. I think these guys understand one another. So I don't want us to fall into that, because in all honesty, we really don't know what the deal is. We don't know if they're working out or not. Listen, if Jameis plays bad this year, he's going after this year. Pretty much. I mean, Jonathan, look, this is a harm, no foul type contract here, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're the Saints, you signed him to a 1-year deal. It's basically a prove-it deal. So if he goes out there and he does not perform well, if he goes out there and he's throwing interceptions left and right, then you move on from that. But if he goes out there and he has a really good season, then you can go back to the negotiating table and renegotiate your contract. But I mean, I'm not really concerned about what's going on down the line. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about what's going on right now. And can he change the narrative of what people think about him? Me personally, I feel like he can. You know, I root for people who are the underdog. I root for people that people wash their hands with. You know, because I feel like everybody has it in them to change the narrative. You know, like I used on the last episode, how many times have people written you off? People say that you're not going to amount to anything. People say that you're not going to build that business. People say that you're not going to be successful in that relationship, or your marriage is not going to last. How many times have we heard people denying us and telling us that we're not going to make it, or questioning our abilities, or, you know what I'm saying, questioning where we're investing our bread, right? But we didn't allow those things to hinder us from doing it. We kept pressing, we kept moving forward, and we found the results. So I'm pushing for guys like Jameis. For some people that may not believe this, I'm pushing for people like Taysom, because what Taysom Hill is doing, he's actually creating lanes for people, for us to have conversations about Tim Tebow coming back, creating lanes for people like Tommy Stevens with the Carolina Panthers. So I'm rooting for all these guys to be successful and changing the narrative of what the masses believe about them. So I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of people changing the narrative. TJ, where were Jameis and his teammates practicing? What city? Tramal, I'm not sure. Like I said, it looked like they was in Metairie. You know, it looked like it. You know, and Route God, the guy who actually recorded the video, he's from New Orleans, so wouldn't be surprised if they weren't out there in New Orleans working out. Thomas might still trying to be 100%. Yeah, I mean that could be too. You know, I mean, he looks like he's in phenomenal shape, man. I mean, he had a picture that came out via Instagram, man. So he definitely been clanging and banging. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, working hard in that gym. You know, so I don't think Michael Thomas ever be a problem. I think this guy thirst for greatness consumes him, and I don't see him like falling off. Stay of the Saints podcast. I'm just curious after what Yannick Mack said. That's all. Yeah, Jerry, I understand, but I don't want, you know, I don't want people. Look, Jerry, you're the OG, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is, man. You like one of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, you know, the original people here on the show, man. So, you know, I gotta, you know, when you speak, people listen. When you chat, people, you know what I'm saying, feel what you're saying. So I don't want, you know what I'm saying, I don't want Yannick to, you know, get the wrong idea or feel like, you know what I'm saying, like we don't understand where he's coming from. All right. I understand how you may feel. First off, the fact that, you know, you're a Saints fan, you should root for the team, good, bad, and indifferent. But man, there are times where we got to question what's going on, and I can't knock Yannick for that. But I'm just saying, Jerry, you know, your voice is a little bit louder than others. Uh, wasn't the Mavericks a 6 or a 8 seed or something and win the chip that year? I'm not sure if they. I think they were a pretty high seed, man. I think they were a pretty high seed. Um, I don't think. I think there was like. I don't think there was a 1 seed. Because that was the first year, like when the big three, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh got together in Miami. Because I was actually staying in Dallas that time they won that championship. So I remember that very, very vividly. So I'm not sure, man, but I know one thing. Dirk was unstoppable in that playoffs, man. My goodness. Like Dirk was unstoppable. They couldn't do nothing with Dirk Nowitzki at all. Bobby says, TJ, who do you see the Saints signing at cornerback number 2? We still have a hole there. Can't expect a rookie to start right away. Bobby, as long as Richard Sherman is out there, I'm going to be a lobbyist for Richard Sherman. I feel like Richard Sherman would fit in this defense really, really well. I feel like Paulson Adebo can learn from Richard Sherman. I feel like the respect level between Sean Payton and Richard Sherman is there. I feel like the chemistry between Chris Richard, the defensive, the secondaries coach, and Richard Sherman is there. So I just think that all roads lead there. And when a guy is still on the free agent market and a guy hasn't scooped him up yet, a team hasn't scooped him up yet, you start to like really, like your chances, like really, what I'm saying, really like your chances. So I think as long as Richard Sherman is out there, I think there's a better chance for him to become a New Orleans Saint. And I think it would be a good fit for him. I mean, I'm looking at the 49ers. It seems like they're trying to go younger. Look at the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, they lost, what I'm saying? They lost, lost a cornerback out there. But at the same time, I just feel like what's taking so long, right? I mean, this is when you can look at Seattle and be like, Richard Sherman actually helped build that team. He turned them into a championship playoff contender. So what's taking y'all so long? So why haven't y'all signed him yet? So as long as he's out there, I think the Saints will have a chance, right? That would be my choice. TJ, who are your top 3 Saints players that will most likely have a breakout season? My top 3, King Arthur. Thank you for the question and also being a supporter, man. My top 3 to have a breakout year, number 1 would be Adam Troutman. I feel like Adam Troutman will have a breakout season because he's going to get more opportunities at that starting tight end position. I feel like he emerged and became a better blocker, something that he needed to do in order for him to take his career to the next level. If you follow Adam Troutman in college when he was at Dayton, he was a really good pass catching tight end. So we know that he can catch the football. Problem is he needed to bulk up a little bit and get a little stronger with his blocking, and he successfully did that. So that is a recipe for success if you are, building, trying to build up on becoming the tight end that you want to be. So I believe in him. That's number 1. Number 2, who I feel like is going to have a breakout would be Cesar Ruiz. I think that Cesar Ruiz, coming into his second season, being in his primary spot, which is center, I feel like he's going to play at a higher level. This guy didn't play guard, I think, last time he played was like sophomore in high school. So you're asking him basically to do something he hasn't done in a very long time. And I think he would have played center if the Saints would have had offseason activities last year, and we probably would have seen a better version of Cesar Ruiz. But I think him being at his primary position at the center position, I think he's going to be much better and be that offensive lineman that the Saints know that he can be. And number 3, to me, this may not be a person that a lot of people consider to be a breakout, but I'm going to say Deontay Harris. Deontay Harris is going to have a breakout season. And the reason I'm saying that is because we know what he can do on special teams, right? He broke out when it comes to that. But we've seen plays in the playoffs, and we've seen on nationally televised games where we've seen him, basically take over a game against the Buccaneers. And we've seen him get behind the defenders against the Chicago Bears and Taysom, delivered the ball a little bit late. Or, I'm saying, we've seen him get behind the defender and, it was underthrown or something like that. So I think with the addition of a quarterback that can get the ball down the field, and actually he can utilize his strengths and his abilities to be elusive and also take the top off the defense, I think that Deontay Harris is going to have a breakout season as a wide receiver. We know he had a breakout season as a special team, as a kick and a punt returner, but not as a receiver. So those are the 3 guys that I'm picking. All right. Larry says, I didn't know we were cousins. Let's see. I think that too, Advon. Uh, what about the rumblings I'm hearing about Juwan Johnson moving to tight end? Well, look, if he does, that would be a pretty good idea. I can see that happening. This guy has a big, large frame. He's pretty large for a wide receiver. But he can run and he's a good blocker. And the Saints like to keep around those wide receivers that can actually block, because, when you're running a lot of plays, like a lot of stretch and toss plays, you need those wide receivers on the outside to be able to block in order for them to spring the running back. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you want to be able to have guys on the outside perimeter that can block. And Juwan Johnson fits that mold. So if they, come to him and, talk to him about it, I can see it happening. And also can see him playing that Brandon Coleman type role. Brandon Coleman, we all were waiting for him to break out, right? We all were waiting for him to, be everything the Saints wanted him to be every training camp. Brandon Coleman, Brandon Coleman, Brandon Coleman. Then all of a sudden the Saints just realized maybe this guy isn't going to be all that we think that he's going to be. And they started to put him in during red zone situations. And then Brandon Coleman started to score touchdowns, right? So maybe the Saints might have that type of offensive scheme for Juwan Johnson. But, I mean, I like to see him in a wide receiver role before I just completely dismiss him as a receiver. Because I said this on the last show. I think that we have to look at some of these young players and we have to look at what they were actually up against. With Drew Brees in the twilight of his career, very limited due to some of the injuries that were piling up on him. So some of these guys didn't get the opportunity to do some of the things that they were good at because it didn't fit what Drew Brees could bring to the table at the time. So I think that this year we need to start evaluating these guys a little bit differently, okay? I think that as far as their skill set, I think that is something that we need to evaluate because here's the thing. What Sean Payton does, he builds up these schemes and he creates these schemes rather for these wide receivers to thrive in his offense. Like back in the days, we seen it with the Meachams, right? With the Devery Hendersons, right? With the Joseph Morgans and you know what I'm saying? And Lance Moores and Willie Sneads. The things that they specialized in, Sean Payton had a package for those guys. And I feel like with the limitations of Drew Brees, he kind of had to make the offense a little bit more Drew friendly to account for the limitations that Drew Brees was dealing with. So a lot of these guys didn't really show us everything that they possibly have. And some of the opportunities that these guys could have possibly had, for example, is a play breakdown, if a guy runs the right route, if he's wide open down the field, 20 plus yards, then, you know what I'm saying, we probably didn't get opportunity to see that because we knew that the ball wasn't going to go their way. So let's see what they can do with a younger quarterback with a stronger arm and can get them the football in situations that kind of suit them. Okay, so I'm not going to say that Juwan Johnson can't be a good wide receiver, and I'm not going to say to switch in the tight end just yet before I get a large sample size of what he can possibly be as a receiver. And he's doing the right things, right? He's doing all the right things. He's working out with Jameis. He's working out with his other teammates to try to build up chemistry and also just try to get better as a player. So I would love to see what he can do going into training camp. And if things don't pan out in training camp, then we can have this conversation about what should we do with Juwan Johnson. Let's just give him an opportunity to see what he can do as a receiver before we start talking about a tight end. But that was a good question, though. Tragic says, hey, TJ, a high ankle sprain is far worse than a routine ankle sprain, and it takes almost a year to truly recover despite what they tell you. I knew LeBron and Mike T would basically be a lost season. Yeah, Tragic. Look, it's really, really tough to deal with an ankle injury. Anybody that's probably played a little pickup basketball, rather it's at the park or you have an opportunity to go to the gym and play, you know what I'm saying, with the guys who have hoop dreams and, still got it, got it inside of them and stuff like that. And they still think they in game 7 of the NBA finals. And, you know what it is, man. You go up in there, you battle, you try to catch a rebound, come down on your ankle, man, turn sideways. That's like the worst feeling in the world, man. All of your weight coming down on your ankle, man. Like that is, oh, man, I've done that on so many occasions. And it takes some time for it to heal, man. So if you're an everyday Joe Blow, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to take some time, right? If you're just a regular Joe Blow, got some adequate insurance, right? Like you're going to have to take it easy. But these guys, these guys are millionaires, man. They get the best doctors. They get the best treatment. And even with them, it takes a long period of time. So, yeah, I mean, it is something that you definitely have to stay off of. And it's definitely something that you can't take lightly because it continues to nag with you. You might one day you might feel like absolutely great. Like you walking around, you might be able to run a little bit, nothing bothers you. And then You go to sleep, you wake up, man, you just super stiff. You know what I'm saying? Like you limping around the house and like you just played yesterday or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like so, I mean those ankle injuries are funny. You know, very very funny. I'll be ripping them. Thank you very much for the $2. Says Mike T FPS rate farts per squat is off the chain. Well, hopefully, and hopefully he can, and hopefully we see the best of Mike T. You know what I'm saying? Look, I know people was getting mad at Michael Thomas because they like, man, he kind of shut it down. I had no problem with that, man. I didn't. Like, we gonna need Michael Thomas in the future. I'm not trying to sacrifice Michael Thomas as a future New Orleans Saints player just so I can dance around my living room and do the Benson boogie. Look, I'd rather have him at a 100%. And we also see how good the New Orleans Saints coaching staff, as well as some of those other players, are stepping up and taking it upon themselves to try to be able to, be able to work to become a better wide receiver, even though Michael Thomas was down. Right. So, I mean, a lot of these guys stepped up and they're able to compensate for the loss of Michael Thomas. Alfred Andrews, thank you very much for the $4.99. Says, do you drink Breeze? Do I think Breeze selfishness will come back to haunt us? Alfred, I would have to understand what you actually mean by being selfish. What exactly are we talking about here? There are so many ways people have said that Drew Brees is selfish. Some people felt like, he was selfish in the wild card game, saying, against the Minnesota Vikings. Some people say that he's selfish about coming back too early. Some people are saying that he was selfish about coming back at all for this last year. So got to be specific about the selfishness and what you saying about, Drew Brees being that way, because I've heard so many people in so many different scenarios of people that said that Drew Brees was selfish. I don't know. I mean, there's so many people that said that he's selfish for so many different ways. And people that are fans of Drew Brees, they probably scouring right now, being mad. But hey, man, look, you got to call it for what it is. A lot of people feel that Drew Brees and his actions were a tad bit selfish, man. And I know my little nephew up in here, man. So I want to give a special shout out to him, Kalen. I saw you in there, man. So I'm sorry I missed your comment, but I know my nephew is on there, so I want to give a shout out to my nephew, man. And me and my nephew, we got a wrestling podcast together, so that's gonna come out on Friday. So y'all check it out for all my wrestling fans out there. Cross says, TJ, how do we defend the Atlanta tight end Kyle Pitts, aka the Freak? Will that be a responsibility of Jenkins or CD or maybe a linebacker? Probably a little bit of everybody. It depends on what he brings to the table. And look, I don't care what you're called in college. You got to prove it on the field. I don't care what your track record was. You got to go out there and you got to perform. So Kyle Pitts is an extremely talented athlete, and I'm hearing he's supposed to be like one of the best of all time, but you got to put on that uniform, man. You got to put on that uniform, and you got to go to the right situation. And I think that these Saints players are going to be up to the task. Damian said, what up, TJ? I'm all the way late. What did I miss? Just talking about Michael Thomas and him not working out with some of his other teammates. Don't know if he's working out with them or not, but it just seems like, we haven't seen him, so we're just wondering why. That's all. That's answering that question. Tragic says the high ankle sprain actually feels like a broken leg. It doesn't hurt near the ankle. It's more around the shin area. Yeah, man. I mean, look, all I know is you be in some serious pain. You be in some extremely serious pain, man. Especially like when you wake up in the morning, it's been sitting stiff. Like right after that, man, my goodness. Book will be fun to watch in the preseason. Well, I think all rookies are fun to watch. It's just that whole freshness of it all, right? It's just about being fresh, brand new, right? And we look forward to watching those guys. So it's not just Ian Book. I'm looking for Kawhi Baker. I'm saying I'm looking for Paulson Adebo. I'm looking for the linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking for Werner, the linebacker. I'm looking for all these guys. I'm looking for some of these undrafted free agents like Trill Williams. You know, I'm looking for some freshness. I'm looking for some dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for some real confident guys to go out there. So it's gonna be interesting to see. And speaking of interesting, man, I want to thank you all for being a part of the State of Saints podcast. Thank you so much for being here. The State of Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Check out Manscaped.com for all your below the waist needs. It's 2 million men have preferred Manscaped.com for all of their grooming needs. And as mentioned at the beginning of the show, for those that might just tuned in, I want to thank the fine folks at Manscaped for sending over the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 is available right now on Manscaped.com. And you can save 20% by using the promo code State of Saints. So thank you to all those fine folk over there at Manscaped. I know a lot of people that follow the State of the Saints podcast have chosen Manscaped, and I appreciate that. And for those that have not, support the State of the Saints podcast by selecting some of the items and using the promo code State of Saints. So the Lawnmower 4.0 out right now, okay? It's out right now. So y'all check it out. And I also want to say thank them for sending me the nose trimmer here. That's available as well, man. So Manscaped.com, really good products. Guarantee you're going to be satisfied. Matto says, this defense going to be scary. I hope so, man. I hope so. I hope we have a good defense. Architect 79, thank you very much for the $4.99. I appreciate that. Keep pouting, who that? Well, you must got a Panthers fan in here somewhere. Okay, Matt, okay. Well, keep on, man. Thank you so much for being here. You know, Carolina Panther fan coming through, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, this is a show that focuses on the New Orleans Saints, man, but we welcome all rivals. Falcon, Bucks, Panthers fans. You know, I appreciate you all stopping by. You know, being a part of the show. Vaughn says, quit spamming. I don't think he's spamming. I think he just came through. Even talked about his defense. He said, this defense is going to be scary, which explains that. Okay, so he's talking about the Panthers defense. I'm not gonna lie about that, man. That defense do look 2017-ish from the New Orleans Saints. You know, a lot of young players growing together, becoming better together. I can see that. They're going to have a really good defense. And one thing you can say about the Carolina Panthers, man, even though they didn't have a successful season last season, they always fought to the very end. So you got to give credit where credit is due in that regard. So I don't have a problem with that, man. I mean, Carolina, I'm 3 hours away from Charlotte. Carolina Panther fans are around here. And I got to say, man, I don't feel the same way towards Carolina Panthers fans as I do towards Falcon fans. Like, anytime I tell a Carolina Panther fan that I'm a Saints fan, like, I don't feel any mad disrespect. And maybe it's because, how I roll or whatever. But it's always like this friendly rivalry. It's always respectful. I don't have a hatred towards Carolina like I do for the Falcons. Okay, I just don't. When they play the Saints, I want them to lose. And when the division on the line, I want them to fail. But I don't hate the Carolina Panthers or despise the Carolina Panthers the way I despise Falcon fans. Falcon fans are like, when I can find them, are like some of the most annoying, like, delusional fans ever. Like, it's sad at this point. Like, it's absolutely sad at this point to watch. Like, it is some sad stuff to watch. It's sad, man. Like, when you just holding on with everything that you have, and it's the Falcon fans to me right now. It's like watching boxing, and then I'm gonna move on. It's like watching boxing, right? And you have one boxer who got another boxer in the corner, and I'm talking about they wailing on him. Stealing off on him. Know he about to go down. You know what I'm saying? Everybody on their feet because they know the last blow is about to take place. And then all of a sudden, the guy in the corner just takes his foot and hits the guy in the balls. Yes, I got to say balls just for context, okay? You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Like just completely just stop the onslaught. That's exactly what the Falcons looking like. The Saints have dominated them for the last, you know what I'm saying, couple of years. And what they holding on to is an overall record right now. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all they got. A couple games. I think maybe 2 or 3 games. 3 games if you count the playoffs. That's the only thing that they have to hold on to. And other people doing things to the Saints. That's the only thing that they got to hold on to. So it's just absolutely sad to watch, man. And as a Falcon fan, look, I want you to root for your team. Loud and proud. Be proud to be a Falcon fan. But at the same time, like, as a Saints fan, I'm not going to sit up here and disrespect the Cowboy fan when it comes to the 90s because they dominated. But I can talk about how, you know what I'm saying, the Cowboys haven't done nothing lately. And I can put that up against the Saints actually being a relevant football team. So you got to put context on it. I just feel like that's sad, man. It's sad to watch these guys do this. They need to come up with better material. Kenterio, thank you very much for the $4.99. Says, what they going to do about Marshawn? They've been hush-hush. Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to figure out something. It's still an offseason, so I don't expect for them to do anything right now. You guys almost had Terrence Marshall. Yeah, they came in and y'all came in and got him, you know. So he's gonna be good for you guys, man. I think he's gonna be real good for y'all. But the Panthers coaching sucks. I think they're more of an analytical team. You know what I'm saying? They're playing a lot of money ball out there. You know, like they're playing a lot of money ball is what I'm seeing from them. It seems like they're trying to build their team based on analytics. They got Matt Rule because he's known as being a team builder. They got Joe Brady because he runs a more, you know, sophisticated finesse type offense similar to that of the Saints. And if you look at them, man, they basically trying to build it the same way the Saints did, building young defensive players in their secondary, just like the Saints did. You know what I'm saying? Getting like a thunder and lightning type combination, just like the Saints did. Got a quarterback that, you know, in the right system can be very conservative, not going to turn the ball over so many times, just like the Saints did. Getting offensive weapons on the outside to stretch the field, just like the Saints did. Got a pass catching running back that can run between the tackles and catch out of backfield, just like the Saints did. The only difference is the fact that, you know, their linebacker play has been exquisite over the last couple of years. And that's the only thing that I feel like the Saints have not had. But besides that, you look at what the Carolina Panthers are doing. I mean, they basically are following the Saints blueprint. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the way that it looks like to me. And I feel like they're going to find success. I really do. I just hope they don't find that success against the Saints. Don't like the Falcons. You're not the only person. Candace White says Mike Thomas top 10, not top 5. I think he's top 10. You know, I think he's top 10. Depends on what type of you know, wide receiver that you're looking at. Like a lot of people, you know, and I get it. This is the modern day NFL. The modern day NFL tells us to believe that if a guy isn't running a 4-2, running down the field, running 9 routes straight down the field, then he's not a good wide receiver. Or if he's just out there, you know what I'm saying, running like quick slants and out routes, you know, they're not a good receiver. I don't agree with that. I really don't. What measures greatness to me is when everybody knows that you're great. They account for your greatness and you still shine in spite them trying to stop your greatness. That is what that's the true definition of greatness to me. When somebody tries to stop you, like they do everything within their power to neutralize you and you still perform. That is the definition of great to me. Okay, if you can do that, to me, you're great, right? People don't like Floyd Mayweather, right? And people don't like him. People say that he brash, he arrogant, he throwing money and ladies of the evening. He's out here throwing money into the street. He's out here showing how flashy and cool he is, cars, clothes, houses, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, after he leave that press conference, he gets into that ring and he makes some of the best look like they just some tomato cans. So a lot of people, look at that and you know what I'm saying, they don't have an appreciation for it, but that's the true definition of greatness. I'm not the biggest Mayweather fan, but hey, the dude great. Muhammad Ali, you know what I'm saying? He used to call his shot. He was great. Tom Brady, great. Drew Brees, great. You go into the game, you go into the ring, you go into the octagon, trying to neutralize and take this guy down, and there's nothing that you can do about it, right? You look at, Khabib, right? Look at Khabib in the octagon. Can't stop him, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you look at Usman, can't stop him. You look at John Bone Jones when he's sober, you can't stop him. So that's greatness to me. That is the true definition of greatness. That nobody can't stop you even when they try. So in that regards, you have to put him up there, because if he's running slant routes, I want people to understand this. I don't think y'all understand how successful and how good this is. This dude runs slant routes. Everybody laugh at him, call him slant god, and you just run slants. But do y'all know how hard it is to run a successful slant route? Do y'all understand that when somebody is jamming you at the line of scrimmage and they got 5 yards to do so? This guy literally has to break off the line, right? He has to push the cornerback out of the way in order to take him off balance, in order for him to have leverage, in order for him to catch the pass. It is much easier for you, if you have speed, to run straight down the field, straight line, and catch a football. Because after 5 yards, the cornerback can no longer touch you, versus somebody jamming you at the line of scrimmage, knocking you off of your route in order for you not to catch the ball. That is very hard to do, folks. So I don't see the problem. And like I said, he does it really well. So I don't understand why people would even knock that. That's my definition of great. So you got to put him in that category. You got to put him in a category of being great. I just think that we just have this idea of what greatness is, and a little bit of it is just, a little bit of it just kind of warped. Because, the first thing they start talking about on some of these major shows, they start talking about arm talent, right? He can make all the throws, right? So if Patrick Mahomes can throw 60 yards off his back foot, he can throw no-look passes across the field. He can, he can fit passes into a tight window. Then all of a sudden, that's what we feel like the standard is. So anybody else that comes along that can't do the things that Patrick Mahomes does, then they're considered middle of the pack or average, which is not even the case, right? There's different ways you can do things. All right. There's different ways you can get to your destination. Some people hop in that Ferrari, go 110 plus miles per hour down the highway, get there fast, right? You got other people out here, might get themselves a standard car, might get there a little bit, slower than a luxury vehicle, right? But you might have a Prius. That Prius, might not be as fast as those other two cars, but guess what? It's going to get to its destination. There's so many ways that you can do things. I don't want us to just fall into what we consider greatness is this one particular thing. And if we're not careful, we'll start falling into that narrative. So let's not do that, folks. If you want to do it like that, fine. Maybe some people like, I don't agree with you, TJ. That's fine. Okay. But as for me, I just feel like, you can't measure greatness based on just one individual, because one individual does things completely different from another. It's like LeBron and Michael Jordan. Right? LeBron is more of a brute force type guy in certain situations. He might facilitate the ball, pass the ball out for the other person, get shine and take the shot. And some people look down on it, but at the same time, he can still put up 27 and 8. You know what I'm saying? In about 10, 11 assists. But when you look at somebody like Michael Jordan, and everybody in the arena know he's going to take the ball and he's going to shoot it. But when it all said and done, everybody's going to say LeBron was great, Michael Jordan was great. Two different players, but still great. going to scroll down a little bit to Ramsey. Ramsey says, "What up, TJ? Game of the week, arm and arm and of the damned, and my little hope, the creator, appealed until dawn is a bonus game because of the same studio they both have all through have such a beautiful." Well, Ramsey, I'm not too sure about what the game is. It looked like it says Arm of the Damned. I think that's what you're talking about. But Ramsey is the guy who tells us about the video games of the week. So for all my video gamers out there, y'all check out Ramsey, man. He's down in the comments. He'll tell you the game to watch out and be on the lookout for. Slant routes is hard to guard for a cornerback, TJ. I mean, yeah, in a certain way, but if you have good hands, and you're jamming, you got a good strength, you can knock a wide receiver. You can knock a wide receiver off their route. Like you can. We see this all the time, man. I know some of us see these videos of these cornerbacks working out. You can knock a guy off their route. It's not an easy route to run. Like it's an extremely disruptive route that you run. And if you're going up against some elite competition, it's kind of hard to do. Hey TJ, what's your take on Joe Tryon? Refresh my memory. Hold on. That name sounds familiar. Hold on. Let me make sure before I start talking. I want to make sure that I'm saying the right thing. Okay. Yeah, the linebacker from Tampa Bay, right? That's what we're talking about here. Yeah. I think that was the right choice for him. Look, this is a team that don't really have too many weaknesses. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due here. They don't have too many weaknesses. So for them to go out here and get themselves a young linebacker, I think that is a plus. And plus, on top of that, look, man, this is an embarrassment of riches. Like, you got to admit this as a Saints fan. I mean, they got an embarrassment of riches. They got Levante David. They got Devin White. I mean, and now they got this guy up in there. You know what I'm saying? So you got Shaq Barrett, who also a linebacker. So adding this guy right here, they can have a very dangerous room. And I like what they did. This is a team that really, like I said, don't have many weaknesses. So adding him to the team, Tryon, I think it was a plus. I wanted to make sure that I was going to say the right guy, because there was another guy that kind of had the same similar name that I was thinking about. So I wanted to make sure that I was going to give the right person. That was the person I was thinking about, but just wanted to make sure. It's mostly 12-year-olds and don't understand the game that talk about Michael Thomas, same ones that talk about Lamar Jackson. There's a lot of people that don't understand the game because it's so much television watching going on. And if you're not careful, it will warp your mind. I'm just being serious. It will basically skew your judgment and make you believe that things are exactly what they say they are. But you got to peel back the surface, and we got to understand. And maybe it's because, I'm into broadcasting and I understand like the behind the scenes type stuff and how it works. But a lot of these guys, I mean, to be honest with you, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And then most of the time, guys are basically giving their opinion. Like, look, that's why I tell people all the time, like, I don't want anybody to make it seem like my word is gospel. You have some people, that get mad at me. They'll say things like, "Oh, you think that you ain't never wrong." I'm like, do I ever get on this camera, or do I ever get behind this mic and say, "I'm always right"? No, man. Like, people start to like create these narratives about you, which I really don't understand. Right? So I'm just a person giving my opinion about something. My opinion does not like trump anybody else's. Like, we're talking about football. You may feel a certain way. Now, I might see a comment and I might not agree with the comment, but that don't mean that your stance is completely dismissed because I'm behind a microphone. But back to what I'm saying, it's just opinionated. And a lot of people take people's opinion and we make it seem as if it's true. And it's not. Right? You know what I'm saying? These guys have individuals talking in their ears. They got people that are behind the scenes in a production room feeding them analytics, feeding them numbers and stats to make them sound like they know what they're talking about. So a lot of times we feel like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? This is the way that it is because such and such said it. No, these guys sit down, they prep. What are we going to talk about today? Well, let's talk about this story about, I don't know, Deshaun Watson. What's happening with him? Let's go ahead and talk about him. Okay, let's throw a little Cowboys up in here. LeBron still hurt. Let's talk about Anthony Davis having 40 plus points, stuff like that. So it's entertainment at the end of the day. These guys look at ratings every quarter called the Nielsen ratings, and the presidents and the executives, they fan these in the faces of these guys and be like, man, look, oh man, we're down such percent. You know what I'm saying? We were down this certain demographic. And then what you think they're going to do? They're going to get behind the mic. I feel like Aaron Rodgers needs to go to the 49ers. Something crazy like that. So you can be like, what? And get on your phone and start typing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's entertainment, man. And I think we fall into that. So all I'm saying is this, man. All I'm saying is this. Don't allow certain narratives to trump your mind. Research it yourself and find your own conclusions. There are times where people will tell you the right things. They'll say the right things. They'll tell you, give you the right information. But if you start following the news, you'll understand. The news has this certain wave about it right now. And it's about not telling you what you need to hear, telling what they feel like you want to hear. Right? So let's not fall into that. But as far as Michael Thomas is concerned, he's a really good wide receiver, no doubt about it. Mike Marshall says, listen, folks, if the man catches over 95% of balls coming his way, he's great. Straight up. TJ, who is your dark horse at training camp? Mine is Kawhi Baker and Trill Williams. My dark horse at training camp. Trying to look behind. I'm gonna have to say Landon Young, the offensive tackle out of Kentucky. I feel like he can be. I'm trying to like get away from like all the sexy positions. I think we need to show a little credit to the guys in the trenches. So I'm gonna say Landon Young, man. Landon Young was a late round pick. I feel like he can be a guy that can make some noise. Joey says, will Ian Book have some packages this season? Only if Amazon deliver them to his house. Danny Boy, two-step, thank you for the $2, says Rams. Are they contenders again with Matt Stafford? Absolutely. Rams were contenders last year. They went to the playoffs, right? They went to the playoffs, so absolutely. Man, look, I'm biased, man, because I like Matthew Stafford. I'm biased about it. So take it for what it is. Kawhi Baker is the wide receiver from South Alabama. Trill is the safety cornerback from Syracuse. Yeah, I know both of those guys. Both of those guys are extremely talented. They made some noise. Both of those guys have some things they need to work on, in my opinion. But if they come in there confident, I think they'll make the team in some capacity. Christopher said, we lost a lot of key players in the offseason, and Tampa still got the same squad. Well, you that is absolutely true, but here's the difference. One of those teams won a Super Bowl. And why do I say that? It's because one team has a huge target on their back. And no matter if they're playing the Jets or they playing the Saints, they're going to get everybody's best shot. And they're going to have to be prepared for it. I think a lot of the games, Tampa kind of flew under the radar. A lot of people didn't realize how good those guys were. They started peaking at the right time. But everybody knows how good they are. They're the champs. So with that comes a huge responsibility. I mean, it's hard to stay on top. And I think Tampa, if they're not prepared, they're going to find out. So I'm not saying that they won't. A lot of talent on that team. A lot of talent. A lot of talent. But they're gonna be getting teams' best shots. So they gotta be prepared. Rams got slightly better. They look very NFC runner-up-ish. But look, they've always been runner-up-ish. Like, to be honest with you, it should have been runner-up-ish in 2018. I think we all can agree to that. But they're a good football team, man. They got a good coach out there. Sean McVay does a really good job. He deserves like all the credit that he gets as an offensive innovator. He definitely has Sean Payton number. I'm sorry, folks. It is what it is. Sean Payton, that's a little bit of his kryptonite right there, man. Has Sean Payton ever beat Sean McVay? Yeah. Okay, in that game, week 8 back in 2018, they did beat him on that, and that when Michael Thomas caught the pass for 200 yards. Right, I stand correct. Right, I just had to correct myself. But anyway, like for the most part, Sean McVay has Sean Payton number. Right, so there it is. Hey TJ, we finally picked up a couple LSU players. Finally, yeah, it took a while, but we got some, right? Danny says, "What the hell was that comment? I almost had a stroke reading it." Let's see. Yeah, I can say the Bucs defense won the Super Bowl and the start of the playoffs. They just got hot at the right time. Yeah, they started peaking at the right time. That is important. That is important. The Athletic really picked the Saints 19th in their post-draft power rankings. Going to be fun proving folks wrong. Well, look, like I said, falling into that narrative. Falling into the narrative. The narrative is if you don't get the sexiest players in the first round of the draft or the first 3 rounds, then it's a failure. Let them talk. I don't buy into that stuff, man. I don't buy into it. But I think this is the right time for me to have some church announcements here on the State of the Saints podcast. We got some good things lined up, man. First and foremost, I finally decided to go ahead and let go of my night job that I was working to really focus fully on this podcast. I feel like this podcast is going in a really positive direction. And, me being a broadcaster, I will remain broadcasting at 90.9 FM in the afternoons and being a producer there. But the State of the Saints podcast is something that I built from the ground up, and I'm really proud to do. We not only have created podcasts, we also created a brand. And I'm going to work towards trying to build this brand the best way possible. We got some merchandise coming out soon. We're going to have t-shirts that I'm working on right now. We're going to have other merchandise that's going to be available like right away. That's something that I really felt that was really important before I started rolling stuff out. So we're going to be having shirts that's going to be coming out like really, really soon. That's why I asked on the social media page people's sizes so I can have an idea about how many type of, different sizes that I need to, create. We're going to have like more podcast shows. We're going to, man, really make a run at this, man. I told everybody at the beginning earlier that I wanted this show to be one of the top New Orleans Saints shows that you tune into. And we have done just that. So I feel like it was the right time to do so. And it's not only, just something that I'm passionate about. I mean, this is something that I feel like now is a job. Like, so I thank y'all, man, for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I thank y'all for sticking by me. I thank y'all for believing in me, believing in this podcast for us to get to this point. We're going to continue to grow. Tomorrow on the State of the Saints podcast, got 2 interviews. One is Mike Detillier. He will be on the show. Mike has been on here a couple times. And also, we're going to have Jim Trotter, man, from the NFL Network, and also part of the podcast with my good friend Steve Weiss on the Huddle and Flow podcast. So both of those guys will be on the show tomorrow. I keep you posted on the times in which they're going to be on there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Detillier will be on the show at 10 a.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central time. So be on the lookout for that, man. I thank y'all, and Just continue to help support the State of the Saints podcast. Now it's real, man. It's real now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a job now. It's not just a hobby. A hobby that turned into a job, and I'm glad to say that. So we're gonna make a run at this, man. And we're gonna make State of the Saints podcast the best podcast on the planet. Larry Bryant, if Taysom is our starter, we easily the number one rushing team in the league without a defense that equals chip, baby. Man, that's a strong statement, Terrence. But I'm not gonna knock you for that. That's a person that really believes in Taysom. Not gonna knock you for that. So, what's your prediction for this season? I'm thinking 11-6. Yeah, I'm thinking 11-6, or they might go 10-7, something like that. Like my guy Flash from the Five Heartbeats, Buck's gonna learn it's lonely at the top. Flash coming out in the next 2 weeks. Know that boy was working on that album. Know he was working on that album. When we won a Super Bowl, we had our whole team back to look what happened that year. They have to be on their game. Yep, they got to do it. Congratulations, brother. I appreciate that, man. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm building something here. I know, that's why I said at the beginning of the show, I don't want people to think that, oh, you didn't made it and all that kind. No, I have not. I am still trying to build this podcast. And I don't feel bad about saying that. Some people want to hide what's going on behind the scenes. People want to make it seem like they own and they're so important. And look, man, I can't be that way. I can't. And you look at, and I look at like a lot of these podcasters, they be like, how to run a successful podcast, what you need to do. And like, man, if I can't stay true to myself and I can't stay real to the people that made me who I am, I don't want to do it. I'd rather not do it, man. I don't want to look in the mirror and be like, man, I don't like what I see. I'm proud that I built this podcast and along with you all coming along, helping, that we got to this point. I am. Like that's one of my crowning achievements. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, having my son, being married, you know what I'm saying? It's up there, because I mean, this is like one of those things where I feel like we stayed true. We ain't go out here and sell out and do a whole bunch of other stuff that didn't work. Like we built something special here, and I'm proud of it. And I think you all should be too. And I thank all the supporters that that support this podcast, that make it what it is, that ever bought a T-shirt, that sent in ideas, that that believe in me. Sometimes when I don't even believe in myself, like there's a lot of time where I second guess myself and am I good enough? You know what I'm saying? Like and it's always positive energy that comes my way, man, that shows me that I'm on the right path. So thank y'all for that. Scroll down a little bit. Who you think will be wide receiver 2 this year? Good question. Well, I would have to say Traquan Smith. I would have to say Traquan. And for those that don't know what the treatment is, you'll see. There's still work to do, TJ. Oh, yeah, plenty of work to do. But we're going in the right direction. Are you excited with Jameis possibly being the starter? He can throw the football, just needs to get rid of some interceptions, and Sean Payton can help with that. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. I said this before. Sean Payton is going to utilize Jameis's strengths, and with those strengths, he's going to build an offense around him. So I think it's going to be very, very good for both parties. Defense wins games. Yeah, I ain't trying to see the Saints score a whole bunch of points and don't have no defense. I'm over that. Congratulations, TJ. We going to support you, brother, and I appreciate that. Like, I'm serious. Like, I just don't, like I said, I just don't. I just don't see or feel how anybody, can, not stay true to the people that made them who they are. Like I just don't. And that's something that Man, the fact that people can come here and I see familiar names come across this feed and I see new names and people tell me, they enjoy the show and they appreciate it and everything, like that means a lot to me. Cause I mean I know that we stayed true. Like, man, Jerry will tell you, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Jerry has seen it, Chemo has seen the beginning of it, Bobby has seen the beginning of Bobby Cross. Like they seen like the State of the Saints podcast in its infancy. And you know what I'm saying? They seen where it came from. And it just, the journey to get where we are right now, just even to get to this point for me to tell y'all that, that I made that decision. You know, it means a lot. So, like I said, I'm gonna make a run at it. I'm gonna see what I'm made of. Go Ravens. That being said, you Saints be my NFC team, though on the low. If not the Ravens, and playing with the Saints on Mad. Jeremiah, I appreciate that, man. And I like the Ravens. I think the Ravens are a hard-nosed, tough football team. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. Jules, who was an avid supporter of the State of the Saints podcast, he's a Baltimore Ravens fan. He's always in the chat. But they're a hard-nosed football team, and I always got respect for uh, a hard-nosed, blue-collar town. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Baltimore is to me. So I got a lot of respect for the Ravens, no doubt about it. Love watching the Ravens play. Those classic defenses, those classic matchup, Steelers versus Ravens on Sunday night or CBS. Always with some good football games, man. If you like old school smash mouth football, I mean, you had to enjoy both of those teams. I love whenever you go live. It's amazing, bro. Keep it up. Uh, yeah, man. I appreciate that, Joey. Yeah, man. I love going live. And with that, it's gonna come more shows, man. I want to make sure that I give you all the show every single day. But I don't want to do shows when I'm not feeling the topics or just want to get behind the mic and just want to talk about something. That's something I don't want to do. I don't want to be like that. So my goal is to give you all great content every single day. Um, that's the goal here. Give me your thoughts on Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn. I'm a Detroit fan. Don, I think that you have two cornerstone coaches that can turn around your franchise. But look, the Ford family gotta get better at rolling out the red carpet for some of these guys. I heard Calvin Johnson say in the interview about how things were when he was there, and that's not a good look. Uh, the Detroit Lions need to change their culture in a way that they roll out the red carpet and they present themselves to free agents. They got to make themselves an attractive destination spot, and it's tough when you have a family that's not doing everything that they possibly can and being cheap as hell. I think that Dan Campbell is what they actually need. I think he can change the culture. I think Aaron Glenn, who can instill confidence in the secondary. I think that those guys together collectively can turn around a franchise. Now, first things first, you need to work on the running game. You got to get better at running football. It's been a long time since y'all had a bell cow back that you can count on game in, game out to win y'all some football games. All right, that's number one. Number two, don't know if y'all gonna keep Jared Goff or not. Don't know, but I do know this: get some players around him that can ball out, that can play. All right, and number three, fix your defense. All right, you know what I'm saying? Like at least if while your offense is trying to find his identity, fix your defense. So that's those are the keys that I feel like can help fix Detroit. But your owners have to make sure that they do the right things by the coaches, by the front office, and man, look, stop being cheap and stop just going to the next person that just sells themselves really well. Like, do your due diligence. Like, some guys can really sell themselves, and when they get into that room, you think that you got the best GM, you know what I'm saying, the best GM you ever seen in your entire life, and they turn out to be Matt Millen. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to Matt Millen, great player in his day, but as an executive guy, nah. So let's try to see if we can do our due diligence. I talked about the Carolina Panthers earlier, about them kind of playing money ball. and building their team analytically. But a little bit of that dynamic I can appreciate. And I think that's something that Detroit needs to do because Detroit, once again, another blue collar town. Work hard, dedicate themselves to the Detroit Lions. Win, lose, or draw, they up in that thing. And Detroit, like, man, they go through so much in that city. You know what I'm saying? The state of Michigan in general go through so much. Don't you want to have a football team that got, you know what I'm saying? Be like, man, I know that the job that I have ain't all that. But at least the Lions winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least you can look on the bright side of things. I mean, that's the way I feel about it, John. Help, I mean, you gotta help your coaches and stuff like that. You gotta make it attractive. You gotta make it attractive, man. That's all I'm saying. But I like the Lions. I do. I mean, I've been, man, bruh, one of my favorite teams on Tecmo Bowl, right? One of my favorite teams, when they had Rodney Peete, patting that ball to Herman Moore. Barry Sanders was unstoppable on that thing. So like the Detroit Lions, man. I always want to see those underdog teams succeed. I always want to see that. I always want to see that underdog team succeed. And Lord knows, man, please get a running back. Y'all tried, man. Y'all tried to get Javid Best. Y'all tried to get Kevin Smith, who got ran into the ground at Central Florida. Y'all tried to get Reggie. You know what I'm saying? Reggie had some good years with y'all, but he wasn't an every down back to me. Y'all tried to get LeGarrette Blount. Y'all had Kerryon Johnson. I mean, y'all got Swift out there right now. But, man, come on, man. Where's the big bruise at? Okay, where's the guy that gonna carry guys down the field? Where the Derrick Henry at? Like, get somebody like that, man. Somebody that resembles Detroit. Like, you Dying last statement. Y'all have no identity right now. Like, y'all identity changes from year to year. Like, when I think about, like when we just started talking about the Steelers, start thinking about defense. Start talking about the Saints, finesse offense, right? Start talking about Tampa. Start talking about their legendary defense. Carolina, defense. Falcons, for the most part, good offense, high-powered offense. Detroit, I mean, good defense one year, bad offense the next. Like, you need identity. You need identity and stick with it. So hopefully Dan Campbell can do that. TJ, do you think the Bucs Super Bowl hangover or missed playoffs? I think they're going back to the playoffs. Or when the Aints go marching in. I don't know who this actually came from. You got to state your team, man. You got to state your team. Don't throw the brick and hide your hand. Wave your flag loud and proud, my friend. High 704. Old school. Barrett was nasty. Yeah, he definitely was. Barry Sanders was a beast. They should have let that man go so he could have went and won a championship. Ain't done without washed up Drew Brees. Let's see. I don't know. He said use the pitcher, so I don't know. I know that's Carson Wentz, right? So I don't know if you're a Colts fan or you're an Eagles fan. Either way, either way, still need some help. TJ, Saints versus Bucks week 1. That's bold prediction. Need to be. That sells itself. I want to see Sherman in our secondary. Me too. Jared Goff going to help them. I don't think Jared Goff is as bad as people making him out to be, but I will say this. Sean McVay is one of the best offensive-minded coaches in football, so if he can't get you where you need to be, well, don't worry, TJ. T24 Mamba 8 is blocked. Well, Jared said ain't nobody coming between him and his peace. And words of Deion Sanders. The bus was a bad dude. Yeah, he definitely was, man. And even like if you want to go a little further, Bam Morris and Franco Harris, man, Barry Foster, Merrill Hodge. I'm talking about the Steelers now. We don't switch teams. I just ain't no Hurts fan. Okay, so you're an Eagles fan. Ain't nothing wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles for the exception that they just fired their coach. They just let go of a player that they gave up the house and the cars, the kids, and the dog for. The cap struck. Barely, you know what I'm saying? Like secondary needs some help. Linebackers need some help. Got Fletcher Cox. That's probably the bright spot. I mean, I wouldn't be talking, man. And you missed the playoffs. So I don't know. Like that. I understand that y'all won a Super Bowl recently for the first time in franchise history, but I mean, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute since y'all, actually done something outside of that Super Bowl. Maybe y'all still celebrating that Super Bowl too much. TJ, what you think about us getting Terrence Marshall Jr. before y'all had a chance to draft him for your offense? Uh, I think y'all needed him more than what the Saints did. I mean, to be honest with you, so I'm not mad at that. I mean, if I feel like this, if you're picking players out of spite, even if I'm hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's out of spite." If you're picking players out of spite, you're a failure of an organization, and I fail to believe that the Panthers are a failure of an organization. I think that they need some weapons. They need some guys that can actually run that type of offense. And also the dynamic, you got to understand, man, when Terrence Marshall won national championship game, who was his offensive coordinator? That's right, Joe Brady. So he's picking a guy who actually knows the offense that he's trying to run. So I don't think that is as petty as people making it out to be. I think that if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Just like Richard Sherman coming to the Saints right now would be perfect sense. Carnell Lake. Yeah, Carnell Lake. He was a beast too. Saw a video of Quine. He's looking good. Yeah, he was out there rolling around, man. You can still see he not at full strength, though. Send a shout out to Manscaped for supporting SOTS podcast, but most important, thank you, TJ, for bringing this podcast to life, giving the Who Dat Nation a forum to speak on. Shelton, I appreciate that, man, and I definitely appreciate Manscaped and thank them for supporting me and, thanking a lot of the podcast. So thank them for that. We still beat y'all with a scrub. That was the first time y'all beat the Saints in some years, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not get this twisted, right? The last couple of times y'all lost in the playoffs, y'all lost to the Saints, right? Y'all lost to the Saints back when the Saints, you know what I'm saying, like back in 2006 when we played them in the playoffs, knock y'all out. Saints beat y'all again in the playoffs in Philly, right? Then the Saints again beat y'all to sleep recently, 48-7. Then again, beat y'all in a divisional round in the playoffs. So for the first time, y'all beat the Saints, and I don't know how long. Now all of a sudden you want to beat on your chest and come here and talk about the Saints? Man, dude, check this out, man. The Philadelphia Eagle fan base are the most fickle fan base I've ever seen in my entire life. Y'all boo people so much, y'all don't even give people a chance in order for them to go through any type of motions. That's the reason why your organization, staff, team, and MNF and crew have been failures. But yet you want to come on here and talk about the Saints? Yeah, y'all beat the Saints one time in the last, I don't know how long. But then, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. The Eagles, are we going to act like the Eagles didn't play in the worst or don't play in the worst division in football? Like, honestly, if y'all didn't play in a mass media market, nobody would be talking about the Eagles. Y'all in the same division with the Cowboys, who dominate the media waves, the Giants, who dominate the media waves, and Philadelphia. Y'all play in Philadelphia. So outside of those particular things, and people just know that these type of divisions will bring ratings to their show, nobody is checking for y'all. Y'all not an offensive, defensive firepower. Y'all not even an NFL firepower. Y'all a joke. Like, seriously, man. Like, the last image that people seen of y'all team was a coach giving up week 17 because the front office, I don't care what anybody says, told him to tank the game. So a team with no integrity, no pizzazz, no respect is going to come on the State of the Saints podcast and talk about a quarterback that's retired. And all of a sudden, they're not going to be anything? No, it looks like the Philadelphia Eagles aren't going to be anything. So miss me with that. What have y'all done outside of winning that championship? What have y'all done since then? Besides beat on y'all chest and act like that Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying, just gives y'all relevance. Y'all are relevant because of the media market. It has absolutely nothing to do with y'all football team. So miss me with that nonsense. The Saints are a better football team than y'all, have won more games over the last 5 years than y'all, and have beaten y'all more times in this last decade than y'all have beaten the Saints. We have sent you all home crying. Every time we played y'all in the playoff, for the exception, you won't go back to when Bobby Abel was there. So until you actually fix your team and figure out who y'all gonna throw the ball to, who gonna run the football, and who gonna stop who from catching the ball, miss me with that. Just want to let that be known, man. Hold this L for, man, look, I respect the grind. I respect the confidence, but this the Eagles we talking about. I mean, straight up joke. Right as of right now, okay? I'm not saying they were always a joke. I'm saying as of today, we're doing this show May 10th, 2021. The Eagles are a joke. So ain't nothing else need to be said, T24. There's nothing you can say to combat that. There's nothing you can say to combat that. This team needs some help. I'm not even talking about them playing the same, because they don't even play in the same division. Right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, they play in the same conference, not the same division. Y'all got a lot of work to do, man. A lot. Like, a lot. Don't forget the drubbing we gave them in regular season. That's what I'm talking about. What, 48-7 or something like that? Which division do you think is the best? That's not even close. That's not even close. The NFC South is better. The NFC South is better, man. But I want to say thank you all. And I mean this, man. Even T24, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming into the Lions Den, man. Look, I know you love the Eagles. Shouts out to you, man, being an Eagle fan. Shouts out to Dine. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to, I want to make sure I get your name right, brother. I want to make sure that I get it right before I get up out of here. The Baltimore Ravens fan, also for being here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all stopping by, being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. And, we do this show quite regularly, man. So we try to focus on the New Orleans Saints. But if you got a question about another team, feel free. Feel free, man. Feel free to ask your question. Like, I'm pretty well-rounded when it comes to the National Football League. I kind of keep up with every team. So if you have a question, man, you're not a Saints fan, you're a fan of the Ravens, you're a fan of the Eagles, you're a fan of the Ravens, the Bucks, we welcome you here, okay? I don't too much welcome trolling now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to troll and stuff like that, I mean, you got to come with it, though. That's why I come with it, though. You got to come with it. If you're going to come here and troll, you got to come with it. But thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, and previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. And if you're new, man, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. Love to talk, to you about football. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. And also check out Manscaped, manscaped.com, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast, and use the promo code State of Saints, and you'll save 20% off of your purchase on manscaped.com. They got the brand new Lawnmower 4.0 that's available right now. Check it out. Also have other items such as the nose trimmer here that's available on Manscaped, and just also all type of other products, man. 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped, and also for people that's listening and outside the United States, there's free international shipping for you that's available. So thank you all so much. Really do appreciate it. And like always, all I got to say is